For as much as I want to say that I've healed and I've worked on myself, I still have several moments where I still feel anxious. I still feel insecure. I still feel like I have to water myself down. I have many of these moments in my brain that persist and persist time after time. And for as long as I've worked on myself, and healing isn't a linear process, but for the time that I've spent fully involved in my healing journey, I've realized that these voices were built from the past experiences and past trauma and past anguish, and I myself had a part in these voices. I had a part in building this version of myself internally. And this is because that internal self felt as though it had to protect. And by protecting, it developed these internal voices, these defense mechanisms within itself to remind me constantly, you have to behave a certain way, you have to think a certain way, you have to be hard on yourself. Hey, you're anxious right now. That's what it does. When you're battling you versus you, it's hard to stop those inside voices, because those voices have been something that you've known for years, and it's been something that has sustained you through tough times. But you see, the thing is, these voices may never go away. The battle of you versus you is a lifetime experience. These voices may continue to coexist within your internal environment, but it's about how you manage them. And it's not even just voices, it's feelings. That feeling of anxiousness, that feeling of sadness, that feeling of depression, that feeling of pain, that feeling of hurt. You ever had a situation remind you of a traumatic experience in the past, and you could just feel it in your entire body as if you were reliving the same experience over and over again? That is because our bodies store memory, not just our minds. Our bodies store memories, not just our minds. And we have to become aware of that. Because of all these experiences and because of all these things inside of us, we may continue to have those feelings and to have those responses to external stimuli. But it's about how we handle it. How are you dealing with that anxious feeling? Are you feeding more into that anxious feeling? Are you feeding more into those sad feelings? Are you feeding more into those insecure feelings? I could tell you that a lot of people walk around more insecure than they may want to admit. They walk around just knowing how to deal with it. You see, one can change their outside environment, but if you do not change your internal environment, or you don't learn how to manage your internal environment, you're going to be that same individual that's insecure, that same individual that's anxious. How are you managing your anxiety? How are you managing your anger? And You may ask me, hey, Ja, what does that mean? Manage it. How do you manage these things? Well, the first step is dealing with them differently. The first step is acknowledging them. It's about choosing to respond to them differently. If you have a moment of anxiousness, are you going to quiet that anxiousness down? Are you going to tell it to be cool? Or are you going to feed into it and tell yourself, hey, I'm anxious, and get more anxious and just go down a spiral and continue to behave in the same ways that you've already been behaving? Are you going to continue to do that? Because you see, life is about how you handle your internal environment. And don't get me wrong, I'm still working on that. I'm still processing, handling my own internal environment. It takes skill. You may see someone and you may think he or she or they have it all together, but little do you know, you don't know what's going on underneath the surface. You don't know what's going on underneath anyone's surface. They may just be able to manage it better than you do. The only obstacles that you are dealing with in life is the obstacle of you. It's not about other people judging you. It's not about outside things making you anxious. It's not about anything on the outside. It's never been about anything on the outside. It's always been about the inside. It's been about how you've gone about managing yourself, your thoughts, your feelings, your emotion, because no one has the power to those things but you. No one has the power to make you upset but you, but me. So if I'm upset and if I'm angry, it is by my own choice, because we are the rulers of our internal environments. And when we take more control over it and we don't become the slave to our past, we allow ourselves to be a little bit more free in life. A little bit more free in life. I'm doing this pastel painting, I realized that doing art really calms me down, and it brings me to a space where I can really focus and just not think about anything, and that's meditation. Meditation is any form of something that takes your mind away from thinking, because thinking sometimes can be the issue. Sometimes we think too much, overthink. What does it mean to overthink? You're too deep within your thoughts. Can you clear your mind for a little bit? Can you allow yourself to relax, your mental space to relax into calm? Just know that those thoughts may not go away. Those feelings may never go away. You have to be graceful with yourself. You have to be kind to yourself. Because when we experience things, it takes time. So think about how long it took you to store all that energy, to store all that pain, to store all that stress. That takes time to come back from. It takes time to do that. But you are more than your negative experiences. Your experiences don't make you, you make them. You are beyond your negative experiences. How do you live with the pain? How do you live with it? You manage it. You are the key to your own happiness. You have access to the serenity of the world. Every day, are you getting up and are you making the decision to want to do something different? Are you trying to move past your experiences? Because I also think that we get so comfortable with being hurt and being in that space. But I don't know about you. I'm tired of the battle between me versus me. We can be our biggest enemy and our biggest critics and our least supporters. Decide which one you want to be to yourself. Because if you truly want to be free, you have to be a non-enemy. Stop being so hard on yourself and allow yourself to just flow with life and just be. It takes one day at a time, but we're working through it together and we'll get there. Ashe.